Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk. One of the downsides of being punctual is that occasionally you'll start a show, hoping that you'll get some folks to show up. But hey, I'm glad all of you are here. We had 7 of you as the show began. We've got a few more hanging out in the chat. I'm sure the numbers aren't reflective on my end of what's actually happening out there. It looks like we have our friend Lord Thoth, one of the mod Roddics here that hangs out on my channel. We've got Commander Ed Straker of Shadow. Good to see you, my friend. Makini90, a very talented artist, the artist of Rogue Entertainment, and a heck of a creator himself, is in the chat along with Keith Howard, Mr. Dragon, and our friend Runner. So here we are. Lots of things to talk about here today, as I am joined with my co-host, or by my co-host, the ever-talented and truly amazing Tom Connors. How are you doing today, Tom?
Yo. How's everybody doing?
Well, as I put my headset on, hopefully things will get better. I've changed out for a higher quality headset. Hopefully I can hear everything better. So it's good to see you.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Today we're going to talk about some positive stuff when it comes to Hollywood. Does that sound like fun?
There's positive stuff?
Sure, why not? At least a couple things that we can talk about, but I do want to say thank you to our friend Stone Cold Jeremy for the little Shiba Inu giving us a hey there finger. What's going on? Stone Cold Jeremy, thank you very much. We had technical difficulties, did we? I know I did during my Odyssey stream. You probably didn't catch that, Tom, but I did my first news stream over on Odyssey. And to my dismay, at the end of the stream, I found that I had been muted the entire time. So for 15 minutes, I talked to the camera. And the chat apparently had been telling me the entire time I was muted. So the stream was deleted. And I went ahead and, let's just say it this way, deleted the stream and decided to try again on Thursday. So we'll have another news show as an Odyssey exclusive on Thursday. I think I'm going to try to do that consistently on Tuesdays and Thursdays, days that, of course, there's no Midnight's Edge in the morning. And of course, if there is Midnight's Edge in the morning, I'll preempt it. So, because I don't like streaming over the people that I like to watch. I mean, it's very selfish of me, but it's the truth. So how are you doing? Otherwise, everything good? Are you up and running on a new computer, or is everything limping along okay?
No.
No. That's a bummer. All right. Well, you sound very good, so at least that's working out for you. And I know everybody's been commenting on your avatar, but I like it as well. So if I haven't said so, I'm saying it here.
Well, thank you.
So. Yeah, it's fantastic. And I know I'm not muted because Tom can hear me. So at least I'm not muted now. I love you, man. We got another super sticker from our friend Darius Munchausen, who always provides us with a box of popcorn. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about some fun stuff that actually exists, at least things that we can enjoy. There's a lot. There's actually been a few since the reopening of the theaters. Hey, Captain Trek and Hex Allen Comics. Good to see you. Our friend Brightest Day and 6. It's good to see you. Let's see. Thomas Gilkey's in the chat, and our friend Barack Dermis has shown up as well. So let's get right down to it. What would be the first thing that comes to mind as something positive that you would think that we've gotten since we've reopened cinemas?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Absolutely. Consider this: that film is performing quite well, and we're going to take a look at some performance numbers. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right away because we can talk about what the ratings are for these films on Rotten Tomatoes, which obviously we know is fairly corrupt. But let's talk about the actual reporting of the numbers. So Godzilla versus Kong was the first film that I put into the numbers here, and it's one that has done very, very well. On a production budget of $155 million, it has it's done okay. Worldwide box office is sitting at 442,902,000, and international box office was 342 million of that. So domestically, it's performed quite well, over $100 million. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
You did, absolutely. And I'm glad that it did as well as it did. And I imagine by the time it's out, completely out of theaters, we'll be sitting at about what do you think, about 500 million?
If it's lucky, but it could have doubled that.
Oh, easily. Yeah, if it hadn't released on,
The middle of the pandemic.
well, that and the HBO Max.
I don't know if that really had as much. I mean, it did, but
Yeah.
I think the fact that over half the theaters were closed, or they're at 50% capacity, is what hurt the film.
Well, that's true too. I mean, you had major markets that weren't open in California and New York, but at the same time, it did pretty well. So domestically, it got hurt because of the way it was released, and at least that's what I tend to believe. Now we have a film right next to it, The Hitman's Bodyguard, who I hear really good things about it. Did you see the first film, The
Yeah,
Hitman's Bodyguard? Yeah, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is excellent in it. Of course, I'm a
but
bad
didn't it flop like In the Heights?
Okay. Let's not draw those parallels just yet, based on the performance dates. I don't have the production budget listed here with the numbers, but we'll certainly look that up here in a moment. It was far less expensive than In the Heights, I believe, but we can double check that as well. They opened in similar numbers of theaters. So, in fact, it may even have released in slightly fewer at 3,331. I didn't put it in here because you can only put five films, or excuse me, six films in this report tool. And I had to remove Fast 9 because it hasn't had a domestic release yet, even though it's done $300 million internationally so far. Pretty good.
Actually, Hitman's Bodyguard cost over 10 million more.
Did it really? Did
Yep.
not know that. Well, I'm glad you could look that up very quickly. So you think Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is a flop?
Yeah, because of the way they treated the In the Heights.
Yeah, but that's not why they said it was a flop, Tom.
I don't care.
Okay. Well,
Box
fair enough.
office is the same.
Well, the domestic
And the
opening.
one that costs more made less.
That's true. The domestic opening weekend, which included it was a holiday weekend, including a Father's Day in there, shot at $11,397,000. It looks like the international market did not do very well at $6,700,000 in its first bow. But so far, our worldwide box office is reporting at 23,400,000. Now, I will go ahead and pull up In the Heights after while I remove Godzilla versus Kong, since we've already talked about that. So we'll add that to the mix here quickly. And let's see, In the Heights. So far, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is already 2 million ahead of In the Heights, it appears, or just under 2 million ahead of In the Heights. It did, as I thought, or opened in more theaters, 3,509. And it's had more theatrical engagements at 6,965 to date. Um, Mortal Kombat. That's a film, another film I think would have done much better in a normal release rather than HBO Max. It had a production budget of 55 million, which is amazing, Tom. Can you believe it cost that little with all the CGI and everything?
No, I couldn't believe it when I looked it up.
Yeah. Opening weekend, a small number of theaters, 3,073. Domestic opening weekend, 23,300,000, which is kind of impressive, I think. To date, it's had 15,736 theatrical engagements. And let's see, the domestic box office came out at 42,100,000. Internationally, another 40,700,000. So worldwide boxes 82,889,000. So this film didn't quite break even as of yet.
Which one?
Mortal Kombat.
It
It's
will on
close.
video.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's probably, here's the thing, is like, yeah, Hitman's Bodyguard probably have a little bit longer legs than in the Heights, and it will definitely probably have longer legs on video than in the Heights.
Right.
But you got to look at it this way: if it performed like that compared to a movie with no movie stars, it's a fucking musical, and all that kind of stuff, when the box office for Hitman's Bodyguard was less, and you have two big movie stars in it and all this other shit. I don't understand how the industry's like, well, this is a good deal, blah, blah, and then the way they treated In the Heights. I'm sorry. In the Heights was actually a success in comparison to this, if you
It is.
ask me.
Yeah. No, you're not. And again, you're not wrong, and Paulie's not wrong, and everything else. But so the messaging behind that had to do more with the casting decisions that were made in the theatrical adaptation of
Ain't
Lin-Manuel.
woke enough.
Well, there you go. Yeah, yeah, because Lin-Manuel Miranda certainly was, preaching to a community, and in a way that should have sold very well, but apparently there was not enough melanin in certain people's skin, in the in the film adaptation. So, and apparently he had received similar criticism in the Broadway release as well. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like that was probably why it was touted as a flop, and why the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard wasn't. In fact, what it said was it's soft, or actually, I think the exact headlines were something like to the effect that box office is still soft, not necessarily saying that the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard had a soft opening. It's everything that I read. It was couching it in very pillow-like terms. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Okay. Well, look, if you have more insight, I'm happy to hear it. Cruella, which cost nearly $200 million, depending upon who you talk to, is really underperforming for its budget. It had a domestic opening of around $21.5 million. It had a domestic box office to date of 64,400,000. It's getting some legs because Disney didn't release Luca in the theaters for the Father's Day weekend. So Cruella got a slight carryover, I would think, even though it continues to fall off week over week. And its international or worldwide, box office is 160,600,000. I would certify that as a flop. I could be wrong.
For Cruella is a huge flop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there ain't no way they made their money back on that. And they're never going to make their money back on it.
Well, I mean, you're in the fourth Sunday, right? You just completed the fourth Sunday. We don't have fourth Monday numbers yet. It's going to fall out of the studios pretty fast. So there you are. I think it was clearly a flop. But
well, yeah.
I mean, from the very opening, because of how much money they spent. Okay, under normal circumstances, Tom, and this is fun because you're a buff on this stuff. What percentage of earnings happen from your opening weekend on films? Your box office revenues. What percentage is that usually?
Usually the highest percentage that the studio will get nowadays.
Right.
It used to be like a 60-40 split, and then it would go down. But then, like, George Lucas changed that with like episode 1. I think that one was 75%. And then
Yep.
from there, they all got greedier and greedier to where at this point, most bigger films, not all, but most bigger films, they would get 90% of the opening weekend box office, and then it'd go down probably 10-20% from there every weekend. And that's generally the way it goes. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what answer you're looking for other than that. So
Well, okay, and when it comes to box office revenue, no, you nailed the first part. When it comes to the box office revenue, um, what would you say that they get in that first weekend of the total revenue that they earn?
90% usually.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. Like it depends on the film, but if you're talking like a Marvel, Star Wars type movie, they get about 90%. Something like Hitman, Bodyguard's Wife, or Mortal Kombat, they might get more like 75%.
right.
Something like In the Heights, though, that might be a point to be made, is they might not have been able to demand as much, maybe 65% at the most of the opening box office. So again, yeah, go ahead.
For a big film like Cruella, who had a $21 million opening, first of all, that opening's pretty soft, wouldn't you say?
Pandemic wise, no, but normally, yes.
Well, didn't this film, along with In the Heights, have a $50 million advertisement and promotion budget? I mean, reported.
I remember hearing about this movie. I want to know where that budget went for In the Heights.
No, I'm just telling. That was a confirmed budget from an executive that was talking on the record to a trade. So
Then
yeah,
somebody's lying and somebody's laundering some money somewhere.
well,
They are full of shit. And I have never even seen this movie. I got nothing, I've got no investment in this movie. I could care less what Paulie thinks about a movie because we'll argue about a lot of shit. So I don't think it's anything like that. But I do see what they're doing to this movie. It is being destroyed. Go try and find it on HBO Max right now.
Yeah.
It's going to take you about 5 minutes, I bet.
It popped up for the first 3 days on HBO Max when I opened it, and then disappeared. And The Conjuring comes up.
Conjuring comes up right away. I've not seen one advertisement for this movie, not one.
Yeah. When I was out and about, right? When I opened up my HBO Max app, In the Heights would pop up for the first 3 days, and then it vanished.
I think I looked it up in the first 3 days because that's when Paulie and I had our first discussion about it, and I still had to go look for it then. But I mean, it could have just varied by location. But
let's be honest. There is a very niche market for musicals, right? I mean, they just sometimes for some people there's no appeal, right?
Yeah, but number wise, like I just said, look at Hitman's Bodyguard. Sure, it's going to do better overall. But what does that say for that film when a movie with Samuel Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, arguably Ryan Reynolds being one of the hottest stars today, is got such a soft opening like that, as you just put it, compared to something like In the Heights, which nobody fucking knows what it is. It's not a very well-known musical. Sure, it's won some Tonys, but I knew nothing about this movie until Paulie told me about it. And then when all of a sudden the controversy sparked up, I had not seen a lick of footage. I'd only seen a couple photos, hardly anybody talking about it. I never saw an advertisement anywhere, not one advertisement on YouTube saying go check it out now in theaters or on HBO Max like I did with Mortal Kombat. And Kong versus Godzilla was fucking everywhere. Like I saw that shit everywhere. So you can't tell me, unless it's going in these very niche markets like you're kind of saying, which I guess to a point I could understand that. But by God, if they're spending that kind of money on advertising for a movie that they actually, if that's true, they spent more on the advertising than they did the actual movie, which is fucking insane. And I don't understand how that could even be because I did not see one. Please, in the audience, if you remember seeing any advertising for In the Heights prior to this controversy, give me a 1. If you saw some, if you didn't, give me a 2. I bet you if we see 1 in the chat, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, that's true. I did not see a promotion anywhere. Of course, I don't really pay a lot of attention, but I didn't see a promotion anywhere, not even on YouTube, not on Twitter. I was not, and again, I get a lot of promoted crap I don't care about on Twitter, but I got not one thing that promoted In the Heights. So that's very weird.
Diego. Okay, well you're in. Okay, so you're out of the country. So
Monkey,
that's in Keeley. I don't know where you're at. Stone
Monkey,
Cold. You saw some. Okay,
yeah, and Monkey Jeebus did too.
a little kind of about 50-50 so far. It seems like I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Soul Assassin. I didn't know that In the Heights happened until the
That's what I
controversy.
was kind of saying. Is I don't think a lot of people did.
Yeah. And what's weird is I'd heard that they had pursued some form of an agenda driven advertising campaign, and I'm like I just didn't see it. Yeah, I knew the film was coming out for a long time, but that just is because I have those are places I tend to pay attention to, things that are coming out. But it just I don't know. It's very
I think it's
strange.
officially more twos than ones, but
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
yeah, like
Storyman.
Diego said, I was going to say I thought he brought that up. They use targeted marketing. That's why. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Is that because of the pallor of my skin, Diego? I already know the answer to this. Storyman Jack for $2 says positives from Hollyweird. Oh, come on, man. Well, there are. We're talking about it. First of all, we're just talking about some numbers, but I want to talk about how many of these films are positively received, how many people enjoy them, and we'll get there in just a second. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is on the way. Disney is being jerks. They pushed back so many things, they really lost momentum, I think. Tom, that's a good offshoot of this conversation. How much traction did Disney lose with Marvel and other things because of
Well, I mean, it threw the whole industry in a tizzy.
yeah
We know for a fact, and this isn't any kind of rumor from any sources or anything like that. This has been confirmed, and this comes straight from the horse's mouth. Not, I don't think Feige's, but somebody's behind there, where they
yeah
flat out said that this completely flip flopped their entire schedule
yep
because Black Widow was supposed to come first, then all these Disney series and all this other stuff, from my recollection, or at least maybe one of the series, and then Black Widow was supposed to come in between or whatever it was. But everything happened where they had to flip flop everything now. And this was already after they had to flip flop everything to begin with because of the whole James Gunn situation. For those who
yeah
may not remember, they were going to spin off two universes in Marvel. There was going to be the cosmic universe and then the normal storyline.
yeah
And James Gunn was going to oversee the cosmic side of things while Feige continued to oversee the main storyline. That's not happening, at least not that we know of so far. But this was all pre X-Men Fantastic Four coming on board,
and Gunn getting in
even
trouble.
even pre, I think it was even pre Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, these are things that have changed so drastically in the last few years that I think have really killed Marvel's potential and their momentum. So
Yeah,
there's arguments you can make that even things like the positive things that have happened have really kind of destroyed a lot of things out there too in some ways.
yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we're looking at Monkey Jeebus is asking specifically about the TVA stuff and Monkey Jeebus. I mean, there's comics around the TVA, but I mean, you have a significant change in the storyline around the TVA from the comics to this, unless you're looking at something more modern that I wouldn't know about because I haven't paid attention at all to anything recent in the comics. Tom, you want to speak to this at all? Do you care?
Um, that's a very good question. Honestly, I don't understand the intricacies of the power structures as much as some people do, so I'm not the best person to ask that. But I think the Marvel they have done written themselves into so many fucking corners because of their stupidity in the last few years.
Yeah.
I don't know how you build something like the Marvel universe and then let it fall apart the way they have.
Yeah, first of all, they did something unprecedented. I think Gary said that specifically in either a recent video or live stream. They built an interconnected universe that unfolded over the course of a decade from an amazing start by Jean Favreau. Because Marvel Studio films, prior to Disney's acquisition of Marvel, underperformed. Um, compared to other films. So they were kind of like, last ditch efforts, having Favreau and, uh, uh, his casting choices, for those first couple of films were really, what kicked off the universe. Or maybe you see it differently. I don't, but, I think that was the real starting point for the MCU.
Yeah. What was the last part there?
That was under Paramount, but I mean, Jon Favreau was the one that kicked off the 10 years worth of success that they had, the interconnected films and everything else with Marvel.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, but OC Steve says none of the movies are worth seeing. None of these movies are worth seeing. Reboot live action adaptations or over woke musicals. Well, yeah, you know what, OC Steve, I agree with you. Hi, what's up, Low Spec Linux Laptop? Referring to my earlier 15-minute live stream on Odyssey where I was reporting the news as a mute. Apparently, I deleted that, by the way, guys. Let's see. It just skipped on me. Shoot.
I will be
There's
right back in about a minute or
do
two.
your thing. Do your thing. I'll go through some super chats and stuff like that. Yeah, it was weird that Bill Maher went after Miranda, but he also went after a lot of other things recently, Steve, for sure. Um, yeah. Diego says also because you don't see films that the target audience sees, they have that detail. They don't know that. Diego, I understand their data collection's pretty good, but I see almost everything. I see almost everything. I always felt like I was the target audience for everything because of certain circumstances. I even see the rom-com chick flick stuff. So there you are. But yeah, OC Steve, it's going to change things in China, and that's the thing. I mean, in order to push, their version of political narrative in this country, they have to diverge from a market that they essentially catered to for 4 or 5 years. And it's going to cause some problems for Disney specifically with the theme parks, but we'll get into that in another stream someday because there are other elements of the entertainment industry that Tom and I are both capable of covering, including the physical stuff that is beyond television and film. So. I live in a Latin neighborhood, and the Heights is the first thing I see when I open HBO Max. Could that be a factor? Absolutely, the jack of all casuals. But I, again, live in an area that's very diverse and populous, demographic breakdown, so I don't know why I didn't see it. It's kind of odd. My IP poll would have suggested, and it doesn't matter. Valiant Renegade, brilliant video creator right here, an up-and-coming YouTube channel
Valiant Renegade.
on his way to great
Or
things for $5.
Renegade in some places.
Yeah, sometimes somebody does. That's really funny when they do that. But he says, good Tuesday afternoon, gents. The box office needs a heavy injection of strongly desired properties. Disney off to a rough start this year. I agree with that. What do you think, Tom?
I think it's a good Tuesday. Yeah. I don't know if it's that's kind of the problem that got us here in the first place. I mean, I'm not saying your sentiment isn't wrong, Valiant, but how do I put this? I think America's kind of a little sick and tired of the same old shit.
Well,
so I think that's why Mortal Kombat did well. We haven't had a Mortal Kombat movie in forever. Well, yeah, you have that problem too, Soul Assassin, and it's not just the Guardians movie; it's whatever the new flavor of the month is. You'll have 10 movies that are just like it afterwards, or they'll try to market it just like that, or that's where Suicide Squad suffered, and the director even confirmed that himself.
Oh yeah.
I think the spectacles are going to be gone. We need a Godfather, a Star Wars, a Jaws, something that is a cultural turning point.
Yeah.
That didn't cost $1 billion to make, makes $1 billion. Maybe it was Joker, but to me, Joker didn't quite touch on the zeitgeist. I mean, it was there, but I still feel like there's something that's on the horizon. We don't know what it is yet. And they've been bringing it up for a while. I'm like, whatever this movie or whatever it is that does this is going to be unexpected. Maybe it's going to be Dune. Who knows? People are underestimating the shit out of Dune, I think.
Well, the premiere is at the Venice Film Festival, which is coming up, right?
Yeah, I believe that's the case, yeah.
So I will know more then. How's that for an answer?
No, I get you. And in normal circumstances, I wouldn't be comfortable enough to put money on it. But just certain trends and things I'm seeing with Dune, maybe that's where things are. I've been saying for a while. I think we're in the midst of a shift. Things are going to go from like superhero to something else, and I think that's
Yeah,
going to be sword and sorcery. I think because
yeah. I think you're
after the success of Game of Thrones, you've got the timing of things like Conan and Lord of the Rings and other things coming. Now, it doesn't mean everything is going to be good, but I just feel like maybe that's the next like arena because they tried it years ago with things like Clash of the Titans and it kind of went okay, and then they did a couple other movies and then they didn't do too well. So I don't think the world was ready for that again yet. But
yeah.
these things are cyclical.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll see.
yeah. And the Buffy humor does need to go away, Keely. You're right there. Um, our friend Biggles Mess sends us a super sticker. It's my favorite little Shiba Inu dog, Fart Hearts. Good to see you, Biggles. Thanks for your support, buddy. Let's see. They lose interest, Tom, when no one has a passion for a project anymore. It falls. Well, I kind of feel like that's the case with a lot of the Marvel stuff, right? I mean, the directors aren't even important anymore, are they?
Um, kind of. Not name wise so much as I would say they are in a sense of if you get the right director for the right project who can bring you back a product within cost and it's successful. I mean, do we have better directors today would probably be a better question than we did say 20 years ago. I don't know. I don't think so.
Hmm. Let's see. Is there anything else? Da, 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 da. Somebody else made a great comment that I'm trying to find again. Crudsicle. Oh, fantastic story, man. Yeah, your stuff is much better than Disney. Absolutely. And the thing you sent me was brilliant. I think I said that to you already, but for sure. Here's an interesting comment. The Snake Eyes second trailer just dropped. Not really interested. I wish they went for more grindhouse feel too. I don't like what they did with the character to start with, and second, I'm not. I haven't been interested in either. Tom.
No, I'm not in the least really that interested. Full disclosure though, I'm not the GI Joe fan a lot of the other guys in the community are. I thought it was all right.
Mhm.
I was more partial to Transformers and especially He-Man at that time. And then if I had to choose between like say Thundercats, Transformers or GI Joe, one of the former is going to win out before the latter. Especially Thundercats probably out of that mix. So that tells you my taste, I guess, in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Well, and I
Uh,
love Thundercats. I mean, there was a lot of them I really got into. So, even though I was a little older than the demographic they were shooting for, a lot of those cartoons I was into, GI Joe, et cetera, et cetera. So there you are. Um, but I don't know. I just think it's good. The Snake Eyes is going to be disappointing, and that's a shame. Mass Effect could be the next big series. I really hope Cavill is Commander Shepard. I think you'll probably get a female Shepard, but what do you think, Tom?
you never know. That's the problem with this day and age. I don't want to put anything past anybody.
Yeah, and VR says, yeah, that's what he meant. It's the same old boring stuff, and or things no one cares about in large enough numbers. It's true. It's true. You have to create something new. I mean, in my head, there are a couple of book properties that could be the biggest franchises in the history of man. And I mean, I'm serious. If they were properly adapted, if they could do, faithful recreations of the scenes that are important in these books, they've got 20 years worth of material, and it would appeal to everyone, not just a tiny sliver of humanity. Everybody. It's got something for everyone in it, which is awesome. And VR, yeah, Dune could be huge. I don't think it's going to be. I'm a little more skeptical there. Sword and sorcery would be awesome if done right. Absolutely. I think you'll see more and more of that. Zach Morgan says hi to us, of course. Let's see. Um, Shepard can be male or female. Absolutely, Monkey Jeebus. I played as a woman because I'm a sexist male gamer who likes to watch breasts jiggle. Yeah, I understand that. I played as both. So, Tom, did you ever play any of the Mass Effect games?
No, new games are not really my style. It takes me forever to get into anything. I'll play like the GTAs and I did like the Red Dead Redemptions, but outside of the rarity like that, I mean, I've got a shit ton of games. I don't know how to play them.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just starting to do some gaming on Saturdays on some streams. So I played a turn by turn game, Civilization 5 on Saturday, last Saturday. This Saturday, Yellow Flash wants me to play Dark Souls 3. So I have that set up ready to go for playing Dark Souls 3 on Saturday. I think that's going to be kind of fun. Um, and a few other people joining us. I think that's great. Well, let's finish up with the balance of these films. A Quiet Place Part 2 surprised me. I knew it would do well. I did not know it was going to have a worldwide box office of 222 million.
I'm not surprised. It was timed well. The original film's still fresh in everybody's mind. It did very well. It was well received. Nah, I'm not surprised. It would have done 2 or 3 times this. Wasn't
Oh
for
yeah,
contention.
no, that yeah, but I'm saying it. I felt like it was still. It was just as some theaters were coming up in places where they'd been closed for a long time. So yeah, I think the timing was good. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just thought this thing was going to suffer um, from the fact that I didn't think you could tell the story again. But again, I mean, I'm always wrong when it comes to horror films. I mean, look how many Halloweens and Friday the 13th and Conjurings we have, which is the next film that's here. Again, $40 million budget. The thing does $142 million. This is the kind of film you want, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, you want to be able to do something at a low cost, something that's almost a guarantee kind of thing, and that's what the Hollywood studios like.
Would you be willing to admit that because this film and others like it were on a streaming platform simultaneous with the theatrical release, that they essentially cut their box office earnings in half?
In the very least, if not thirds, or
Wow.
however you want to put it.
Yeah, two thirds, two thirds. Quite possible. I think it's at least 50%. So, this could have done domestically um, maybe another 40, $50 million. I think so. I
At
think it could have
least,
been 100 million in the
yeah,
US.
yeah.
So, I mean, it would have pushed these numbers up even above where they are now. So, like I said, I mean, I appreciate um, what these two films, The Quiet Place and The Conjuring, were able to do. And finally, because I threw this in there, In the Heights, again, we're talking about a confirmed promotion and advertisement budget of $50 million on a $55 million movie, yielding 21.75 million.
Pretty much.
It's unbelievable. But again, I always find this stuff fascinating, and the charts here, give you kind of a perspective. Look at how far along we are with A Quiet Place on day 25 compared to day 25 of, well, I guess I didn't track that. Day 24 of Mortal Kombat domestically. So pretty impressive. These are the two films that are surprising to me. Cruella is now 20 some days in, reporting at $64 million. And The Conjuring 17 days in, I think it's going to not only catch Cruella, but probably surpass it. I think it'd be interesting. But so, of these films, what are good films? Is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard good?
I don't know. Is it?
Well, it looks appealing to me. I'll be able to tell very soon. what I think of it. How about Mortal Kombat?
I think it did pretty well. Probably
Yeah.
one of the better of the bunch as far as the cost.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Did you enjoy it though?
I did, but I know some people had problems with it.
Weird. I really did enjoy it, to be honest with you. I really did. Cruella.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the reviews on it were very cleverly written to hide all of the issues with the film, right? And then, of course, Quiet Place 2. Everybody that's loved the first film seems to appreciate the second one, despite the fact that I believe there is far too much talking. But that's just me. I don't know. And then Conjuring, I haven't had a chance to see. It's queued up though, ready for me to watch. So, have you? Did you get a chance to watch it?
Which one?
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
No, I'm not into the Conjuring movies. I've seen the Annabelle one, and that was about it. The first one.
I have a question for you, real quickly. Did you ever see Nobody, the Odenkirk film? Did you get a chance to see that?
Oh, you didn't hear me? And did I have it on mute? I said I just got it in the
Yeah,
mail
yeah.
today. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, okay. So we'll talk about that another time because I want to hear your thoughts on it because I think I think
Sorry,
I
I'm
think
dealing with a couple things in the background here.
I
Sorry.
know. No, you're totally fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we've got people giving opinions here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I see culture. I disagree. I still think Killar right. There was no way to predict the results opening schedule, and sitting on like Black Widow have lost them even more money. You're 100% right. Oh my gosh, yeah, with MCU and well, anybody I mean, okay, let's be honest. Amazon bailed MGM out in a lot of ways when they bought them, but at the same time, they have a Bond film that's just sitting there for I don't know ever, and I don't know that releasing it in any
Because
way
they
is going
can't
to
afford to
work.
release it.
You think so?
I know so.
Well,
It's
yeah.
cost too goddamn much.
Well. The Jack of All Casual says, "Who asked for a sequel for The Hitman's Bodyguard?" Well, it did pretty well, the original film. So, I mean, it didn't cost a lot. Again, it comes down to can we make something that will make us more money than the budget? You know, and that's a lot of times how these decisions are made. There are also called throw-in projects for actors. If you want to land a certain actor to do a film at your studio, sometimes you have to give them one or two. That happens all the time, and you also have make good deals. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making those types of decisions. So, Apex Comics says Black Widow, my gosh, should beat them all by July 9. I hope it's good. What do you think, Tom?
In all actuality, I mean, it should be the one to beat everything, but is it going to beat everything? I don't know. You have some, I mean, taking us back to the original part of the conversation, this movie was supposed to be out a while ago. Does it really have the appeal anymore that it would have had prior to, Endgame or anything like that? I don't know. I don't know how well. I think Black Widow may be one of the first disappointments of the Marvel universe. It'll end up doing the money that everybody thought Captain Marvel did or was going to do, which is going to be funny because nobody's going to end up liking Captain Marvel, obviously, when it's all said and done.
All said and
Black
done.
Widow will probably be well received enough, but it just won't make it. It'll be one of the first ones not to break the billion in a while. Besides, I think whatever the Ant-Man one or whatever was last that
Right.
didn't.
Yeah, I didn't like that film, but that's okay. Ant-Man and Wasp didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy any of it. And you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think. Uh, I don't think they hid enough away from the Black Widow audience to make some of the reveals be even
Well,
all that intriguing.
I have not kept it any secret. I think that the appeal or what the reason why this movie came out when it did is because she's not dead. I guarantee you this movie, or sorry for the language, because I know you don't usually do it on here.
Okay.
I guarantee you that one of the main reasons why they push the movie off to where it is, when it's coming out, when it is, considering what all these Disney Plus series have to do with, I guarantee you sooner or later they're going to announce either another Captain America movie or a Captain America TV series where it's going to be all about Captain America putting the stones back. And as I've said before, we know that once you take the soul stone, you have to leave something behind. We don't know what happens if you put it back. Chances are Black Widow is going to come back, but when and where is the question. That's going to be the thing, I think, is going to be setting up. And chances are it may be her own series, unless if they don't bring her back in some way. This is exactly what some of the reviews have been saying outside of that, which I already kind of expected. And that is a setup for her sister's character, who's
Which
I guess supposed to be in Quicksilver, or not Quicksilver, Jesus Christ, Hawkeye.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, Florence Pugh might do a very good job with that, but again, the reason they're having to
But
cut
it's just
out
Black Widow 2.0, like all the other shit we're getting, like Iron Man 2.0 and so on and so forth.
which nobody's interested in, and they failed at the comic level. Now they're going to fail at a cinematic level. Whether it's television or film. I don't know. It's frustrating. Anyway. Let's see. Jack of all casuals did not enjoy Cruella minus 9,000. There you go. Storyman Jack for $5 says the thing about Hitman's Bodyguard's wife is that it's comedic and there's a lot more to forgive there. Absolutely. And that's another reason why people like the first film, because it was funny and action filled. And you had 2 great actors. Now you have 3. Adding Selma Hayek in, it's pretty awesome. So I think anytime you add
I like
Selma
the Hitman's Bodyguard, but let's just put it this way. It was like one of the stars away from being a straight to video movie. Okay. It wasn't anything that special. It was a bunch of stolen tropes from other movies. Was it bad? No. It was nice to see something quote unquote original. And it did well enough. So I'm not going to hit on that part of it. But as far as the sequel goes, did it need one? No.
Yeah. No. But again, you and I both know sometimes you get a second project because you are wanted for something else. So, or if and those overall deals will include a lot of, you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of things. Yeah, the Conjuring thing is done like a true crime story. Okay. And a lot of people think that nobody was awesome. So I think you'll enjoy it, Tom. I really do. Will Bond be the first $1 billion budgeted movie? How long have
I
they
don't
been
think it
sitting
will.
on?
No, it costs 250, I think, to make. They've spent 30 million already in advertising or more. Then you got to add in at least another, I think,
$1 million a month.
Yeah, it's $1 million a month, so they're closer to like 10 million just off that. Mm-hmm. When it's all said and done, the movie is going to probably cost in upwards of 600 million with all the advertising and all that kind of shit. But if Amazon's sale of MGM goes through, that's going to save MGM's ass. Basically, then that means Amazon's going to pick up the back. They're just basically dissolving MGM into Amazon Studios. Like I've said before, we stopped referring to Columbia as Columbia back basically years ago.
Yeah.
It's Sony. So in a few years from now, when we say Amazon, it's going to be quote unquote MGM. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of what it is. This is the only way. And I've been saying this before. Somebody had to buy MGM because this movie was going to be the death nail for them. And they know it. I think they know it. I think they know they got to unload this thing. They know they've got a stinker on their hands. It's probably going to be one of the worst received Bond movies of all time. It's going to do okay box office wise, but that's just because the last few have.
I don't think so. I think word of mouth has so far with everything that's come out about the film.
I think Bond's a bit above word of mouth, but you could be right.
I mean, but it's been prolonged extension, and delays and problems with the production and script leaks. And I mean, it's just one thing after another that is not lifted projections on the film, Like I said, but I was watching a lot of films trend down in 2019 as we went into 2020 that I was like going, okay, these are trending down because people are tired of, messaging in their films. These films still haven't come out yet. So when they do come out, you still have that same problem. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Yeah, look at that. VR says exactly. Combine the production costs of Conjuring, Quiet Place 2, and it still doesn't equal Cruella. Now look at the BO returns. Yeah, box office is insane. It really is. It's been too little too late for Black Widow for 5 or 6 years, I think. Tom, what do you think?
Box office wise, I think that's going to show. I don't think that's speaking to the movie though. That's the problem, and we've all known this. And I have not heard anything yet out of anybody saying, "Oh, there's some big reveal in this movie that'll explain why." You know what I mean? Like I have not heard anything like that yet. But not a lot of people have seen this movie yet. I know some, a lot of the blue check marks have and that kind of shit as far as like critics go. But nobody within our circle has seen it yet to where they can like I knew a lot about Fast 9. I do know a lot and it hasn't even come out here yet, for instance.
Yeah, well, because of the international folks.
Well, yeah, not just that, but I know like Robert and a few other people who got to see the preview. Right. For the critics. So like, it's kind of like when I got to see Bill and Ted early and shit. So I don't know. I have to see the movie. I have to see the people's reaction. This is going to be one of the few times where it could go either way.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Okay, so and here's where it is. I mean, low spec Linux laptop sits right on top of it, saying ScarJo's recent statement is not going to help the film. No kidding. But I want to know. Let's throw out a project. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this. It's been sitting up here forever. What do you think the Black Widow is going to earn in the box office?
Depending on how things roll, I'm sure it'll end its run with at least 100 to 150 million at the box office, which I know sounds low when you think about it, but that's been the average of these movies so far yet until things are completely opened up, until people start getting out there and the option for seeing it at home is not as accessible. Because this is really going to be one of the first big Marvel movies we're also going to see how, because isn't it going to be on Disney Plus at the same time with the $30 premium? You're muted.
Yeah, I just figured that out. Yeah, the $30 premium deal is definitely there. So yes, you're right.
So we'll never know what they make off of that back end because that's money basically directly into their pockets. What's the matter with Bear Dog?
He's got bad allergies, so he's like he's
like sounds very upset. I mean, so like in the end, I don't know. I mean, it could do okay. Overall box office worldwide, I'd be surprised if it ends with 300 million. It will be one of the lowest grossing Marvel films since way back in the day. So, on the other hand, I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong, but I don't see it having the appeal of any of the other characters because Black Widow has been nothing but a sidekick in every movie she's been into this point. I just don't know if this was the right call for her.
I think it's gonna. So overall, the including international box office, you think it's gonna finish at $100 million or open at $100 million?
Oh, open wise? Oh no, it's only gonna open domestically, maybe 50 if it's at the high end, just because of how big of a movie it will be. I'm interested. Honestly, I want to see how Fast 9 does first. If that makes sense. I think that's going to be the comparative film.
Yeah, because they're come out 2 weeks apart. So absolutely.
Well, not just but not just that. It's just the level of the film because none of these Kong versus Godzilla is kind of an anomaly, and I keep bringing this up because people are like, whatever about it, but it's like no, the first movie did okay. The second movie was a downward trend as far as Godzilla goes, but King Kong did well. And somewhere in the mix there, they realized, oh shit, we're doing this wrong. And they switched gears quickly. And if you look at the movies, it's clear that they made it more and more, I don't want to say family friendly, but geared shit a little bit more towards the kids and the classic fans. Like they did exactly what they should have done with Star Wars and other of these franchises, where it's like, okay, this is not working. Who's our core audience? Well, shit. Obviously, kids love monsters and dinosaurs. Duh. The toys are selling like crazy.
Yeah.
They knew what they were up to. They were smart. They corrected the course. And if it
Right.
wasn't for the freaking pandemic, Godzilla versus Kong would have done $1 billion easy. I guarantee it.
I agree with you. Yeah, I didn't think so at first, but I think you're right. So, I do know this. This I am consistently hearing all of the time. Robert Hammer, Taskmaster is a woman. I think that there. I know for a fact that you're getting Iron Maiden. Tom, you have it.
Yeah, probably.
Wouldn't surprise me. Theme park casuals just saying hi. I'd much rather have Gamora back. Everybody would like to have Gamora back. I think that's what we're going to get in Geo Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Geo TG 3. Don't you?
I have high hopes for it, but I mean, do I expect it to be as good as the first two? Oh no, there's no way it can be. They've got to pull off some major crazy cool, because that's the thing, is now the third film is so tied to everything else in the galaxy of Marvel. Not to be punny in the least, but the first two films you can watch without ever seeing any of the other Marvel films and be fine.
Right.
You could see them as their own films. They really do kind of capture a lot of the kind of stuff we haven't seen since Star Wars, as far as that kind of a feel of sci-fi meets action and stuff like that. Now, this third film, though, is going to be heavily bogged down in its connections to the other shit gone prior.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So you don't think even like 150 million for Black Widow?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
So you don't even think 150 million for Black Widow?
It could do 200 domestically.
Okay.
I just don't see it going much. I mean, if it does 250, I'll be impressed, which means
Yeah.
it'll be able to manage like about 300 outside. So if it pulls in like 500-600 million, I'll be impressed.
Yeah.
And they'll dance around it all they can, but if it does that I don't know if that's going to say more about Black Widow or just the way the world is right now.
It's a good question. George is joined us today. It's good to see you. Thanks for dropping in between meetings. Appreciate that. George is a huge supporter of everybody, and we appreciate that. It's good to see you, sir. We have my thoughts on. Here's my projections, and they haven't changed. It's going to be somewhere between 625 to 750 at most in global box office, and I think that's high now. To be honest with you. I think I'm giving it too much credit. We'll know more with Fast 9, but Fast 9 has already got about $300 million in the
Fast
bank.
Nine's lucky. Yeah, they were smart. They knew what they were doing, because they knew the word of mouth was going to get out on this movie in the U.S. And if that happened, then nobody was going to go see it.
Nobody's going to see
But
it.
overseas, they don't give a fuck.
No.
They just it's man goes fast and car does crazy shit. They don't care. Here though, this movie is going to get. I can tell you guys, the people are going to freak out on this movie. I don't think it's going to be well received from everything I've heard. I don't know. I'm not even in the franchise. I don't have any investment in it whatsoever. I've literally watched the first like 45 minutes of the first film and I checked out. Like, I'm just like, yep, it's not for me. I liked it better the first time when it was Smokey and the Bandit and had Burt Reynolds in it. Like, it just didn't really appeal to me at that point, and I never got into the rest of them. And when my kid got into him, and basically he's explaining to me that it's Carfu at this point,
Right.
I'm just like, okay. And I have a feeling he's been kind of checking out of it the last few movies, so he's kind of my gauge for a lot of this shit. Right. And after some of the reviews I've heard and shit I know, like, basically expect some of the worst shit you've imagined and joked about in the Fast 9 movies. We get a lot of it here from what I've heard, or from the Fast movies or whatever.
Yeah. I like the Fast movies because I turn my brain off and enjoy them. And I think that the performance is going to be lower here in the States. I agree with you 100%. Especially if the rumors, everything that I've heard, and we end up with stratospheric travel. So, speaking of stratospheric travel, you think we're going to get Indian space? I think I asked you this before.
What is Indian space?
Indiana
Oh,
Jones 5.
Indiana Jones in space. I thought you said Indian space.
Oh, no.
Plausibly with the storyline we're getting.
God.
Watch him be like one of the like in some unknown test deal, he'll be the first man to orbit the Earth or some stupid shit, or end up out in space for some stupid fucking reason by the end of the movie. Who knows? I have very little faith in Indiana Jones, especially after the way the director acted. Mangold did on.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe what he did. It was foolish. He must have had way too much bourbon that night or something. Real Wade Nation, we answered this early on. I think Snake Eyes will not do well. I don't know if Tom gave his opinion.
As far as doing well, maybe. I don't know if it'll even do as well as the last few G.I. Joe movies, which is not boding well for it. Because you have one character, which arguably is probably one of the more popular characters, but I'm just not so sure G.I. Joe has proven itself as a franchise outside of the toy arena.
Yeah, man. This is a good question. It does have a release date there, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Mega Jetty says he saw a WW84 yesterday. I'm sorry.
Why?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Bond's over. Yeah, I like his avatar too. Yeah, Bear Dog's having bad allergies right now. So, but he was able to recover and go back to sleep. So he's settled, guys. Love that dog. Here we go. Sama TV should have some numbers on Black Widow after opening day 24 hours. Absolutely. Should be able to see all of those numbers very quickly. One of my main sources for data has been dealing with computer issues. And so there's a lot of numbers I haven't had for a few weeks. It's bothering me. Let's see. Gosh, I'm way behind on the chat, guys. I apologize. We've got so many people that dropped in here. Matt's in here. We've got a lot of folks. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Zax is here. Tina dropped in, of course. I think Tac Master is Anya Drakov.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be surprised?
No.
You know who Iron Maiden is, right? Kimmel accidentally blew that up. It is what it is. Hey, what's going on, Chris Moore?
No, I must have missed that. What was going on there?
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel revealed who Iron Maiden was. It's
Who's that?
Yelena, the Yelena character, the dark-haired lady. I forget her actress name. I should know it. Weiss, is that her name? Weitz. Somebody help me out in the chat.
I don't know.
Yeah. And this is a question. VR said 150 domestic or global. Yeah, I think I tried to clarify that was a good question. VR says 500 million global would be really impressive. Not great, but Disney will save face with that. No, they won't. Not after everything they've put into the film. Apex says 200 million domestic, 700 million. This is awesome. Master Sidearms is joining us too. What's up, man? MJ1 says, our Mega Jetty. The Fast movies are meant for you to turn your brain off, but are still a good story about family for you to be invested. Now, they are too outrageous to be taken seriously. I agree. I think that it kind of jumped the shark on the suspend your disbelief when they started driving cars between buildings.
Yeah, and I mean, when you basically the Carfu was the best way I could explain it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike.
What's up to the Mexican Iron Man for $4.99? Super Chat says Mexicans in space. Why not? According to Picard show, we don't exist in the future. Hey guys, what's going on? Mexican Iron Man.
New Suicide Squad trailer just dropped.
Oh, did it really? You want to get claimed?
Up to you.
I don't want to get claimed. Guys, Suicide Squad, if you're interested, which is going to also tank. Um, that trailer just dropped apparently, so there you are. I'm sure Tom can throw it in the chat. So let's see. Doomcock
I don't have that stuff up.
Doomcock has a new video today with rumor reports on Indy plot. Indy 5 plot, FYI. Did not know that. Interesting consumption for my day later, I hope, when I'm not working. Your stepdad wanted to see WW84. Surprisingly, wasn't too bad. Not great, but not as bad as I was led to believe.
What movie did you watch?
Yeah. And what's up, Spider Unlimited? Says, hail, hail, hailstone. Good to see you.
I even went in knowing most of the shit about that movie, and it was worse than I thought it could be.
it was worse than I thought. And Tina's right. Yeah, Rachel Weisz.
Oh, maybe I didn't have my thing unmuted, but
no, you were. Yeah, I was like Rachel Weisz. I kept saying the dark-haired lady. I
said Rachel Weisz, and you didn't. So I thought maybe that wasn't it.
Nah, it was my fault. Either if you said it, it didn't process. My brain's like, it's all this work stuff. It really is. But Miss Weisz is going to be Iron Man. Gosh, is that a spoiler? I don't think so. It's been spoiled like 3 ways to Sunday. But we'll have to see. Yeah, Starro is probably going to be the takeaway everybody has from Suicide Squad. I don't know. What do you think, Tom?
Never know. Starro.
This is, you know what, VR, you don't have to clarify. I knew where you were going with that. I mean, I understand the thought process behind it, but they're not. This is the thing. The UK, and the other parts of the European Union are now going to try to force these streaming services to report their numbers, at least on the shows that they're affiliated with, which is going to lead to investors demanding more transparency. And then we're going to get some real numbers out of Netflix and Amazon and probably Disney and others on shows, to give us a barometer for what really is successful. And you know what? It's going to make them look bad. They are not profitable. And they're not going to be profitable. I think Disney's going to miss their target profitability on D Plus and any of their streaming services by at least a year, if not more, because they have an epic churn coming up at year 3 that I don't think they're prepared for. But that's just my opinion. So, yeah, Marvel's Iron Maiden says Perez co-created it. There you go. Carlos Mencina did Mexicans in Space. Wow. Cool.
So wait, was she the one that was in Iron Man 3? Or who the fuck was Rachel Weisz in the Marvel?
She's a dark-haired lady.
That tells me nothing, Culture. You know how many dark-haired ladies? Pick 10. We got like
I don't know. I don't even know if she was in. I don't think was she in a previous film.
That's what I'm asking. I'm like, who the fuck is she? I mean, like, am I supposed to know who the fuck she is? Like,
she's gonna be she's gonna be Yelena Rostakov or something, I think, or Kozlov or yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be that person. Yeah, and she's one of the spy people that choppy trainee with
I know she's the chick from Mummy Guys. That's not what I mean. I mean in the Marvel. Never mind. Sorry.
I just said her name, Yelena. What's her?
No, I know who the actress is. I'm talking about her character.
I just said her name is Yelena, whatever in the film.
Doesn't tell me shit. I don't remember that character. So obviously she's never been in any of the movies before, is what I'm asking.
No, she has not. She has not, at least.
Because I was like, I was mixing her up with that chick that was in Iron Man 3. I can't remember her fucking name. But she was originally supposed to be the villain, and she wound up just not being the villain.
The plant
she was
lady?
the one, the plant lady, the one that was hit on by slept with Tony. Yeah,
no, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, the plant lady thing was a weird. And then the freaking there was a lot of weird in that film, in my opinion. That was the Iron Man that didn't land well with me. So
I liked 3. I didn't care for 2 so much.
I thought 2 was okay. Of course, I like Mickey Rourke being weird.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I recognize all its issues too. So
Yeah. Just wait till Disney Plus goes ad based with their $8 subscription, 12 if you want ad free. Oh, dude, it's going up. They have to. Their ARPU is so poor right now. In India, I think I had this conversation somewhere recently. It's 70 cents is their average revenue per user. 70 cents. So they're losing money on those subscribers. Yeah, insane. Oh,
that's
there you
because
go.
their main subscription is going to get jacked up. That's why.
Yeah.
Disney's only going to be able to do this low cost, low ball thing on their streaming service for so long. Yeah. When Netflix is at $20 a month, and HBO Max is at 15 already and going to go up.
They're going to go up. Yeah.
Disney Plus is going to be at $15-20 by the end of next year. You watch.
Yeah, it hasn't been announced yet, but it's going to be 18, and they're going to have to do that because if the CPI is still moving at 5% or greater over the course of the next few months, you're going to see inflation's going to eat away into eat even further into profitability for all these companies. So yeah, they've set themselves on a dangerous path through their practices and support of the things they're supporting. But hey, what it is. Yeah, Rachel Weisz was Evie in the Mummy movies. That's correct. Yeah, I liked her very much. She was the love interest. Yeah. Most women on Earth. Yes, I'm terrible, guys. I'm sorry. I kept saying that. Yeah, she wasn't in the MCU. Thank you, Tina. Let's see. And Mega JD says, though I will admit the disaster in the 80s clearly did conflict with BBS and many other things. But then again, who gives a crap about the DCEU? Snyderverse is not DC Universe. So you're 100% right. One of the most offensive things to me was the flying bit. But it is what it is. Yeah. No, not Pepper Potts, who's smoking hot. Holy cow. Although in real life, chick's wackaloo. But hey, whatever. I want my bird. You didn't like that line, Tom? I'm surprised you didn't. Yeah, it's not one of your go-tos with Mickey Rourke. I want my bird.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke's not one that's real easy to.
Fat Steven says, Fast and Furious 10. F you. Give me $500. Might work. I don't know. Are they ending it at 10 or is it they ending it at 11? I don't know. Yeah, she did graduate from the Red Room like Natasha. Exactly. Yep, Iron Maiden. Yep. Iron Man 3 is an overall mess. Not a true Iron Man film. They couldn't even give us a good Mandarin. No. Sorry, Marvel. Mandarin versus Shang-Chi won't cut it. No, it won't. And it won't make it to China. So far, no dachi. Same thing with, obviously, the Eternals. I think you're going to see far fewer Disney films, especially Marvel superheroes and others, making it into China the way they had been. So we'll see. Yep, look at Discovery plus ARPU. Zaslav is a genius. He absolutely is. Guy is earning a lot of money. Average revenue per user. This is the number that if you're a retail investor, you need to pay attention to when you're investing in one of these companies that lean heavily into direct to consumer. So there you are. I'm not giving you financial advice though. Just the obvious. Watch the trailer for the new Suicide Squad.
You are not a doctor. That's all you got to say.
I'm not a doctor. But I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express in the last 10 years. There you are. So you watched it, but the focus is on like 4 full scenes from prior trailers. It's very pretty, a lot of running, but it didn't turn me off, so that's a plus.
if it's anything, at least it's got to be just better than the last trailer. Last trailer kind of let me down.
Yeah. Yes, Maya. That's right. The plant lady. I'm sorry. Yeah, dude, I am so tapped out of some of this stuff right now. It's ridiculous. What's up, memes? Uh, da, 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 da. Six says, as soon as all of the people who got the 3-year dirt cheap deal have to renew, it's going to skyrocket. That deal ends this November.
Yep.
Somebody's paying attention. Thank you, Six. Yeah, they're screwed. They're screwed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I heard pretty much what you did, and that was I was gonna go up to like 18 something.
Yeah, well, that's a shush, but yeah.
And the $12 is the one with ads. So yeah, that's
But you're gonna see it ramp. You're gonna see HBO Max. HBO Max's next tap is $18. That's their next slot. At least, again, that's where they're headed. Fast and the Furious is never going to end, says Justin Proper. It will. It will. Yeah, a lot of people have this, the Disney Plus bundle with no commercials. A lot of people have it. Yeah, yo ho, a pirate's life for the jack of all casuals. Yeah, good to see you all. And please do hit the like. Absolutely, that'd be great. Streaming is going to price itself out of existence if everybody keeps raising their cost of subscribing, says Shellback. What do you think about that?
Streaming is going to price itself out of. Yeah, well, it kind of has. I mean, we've already covered this. I don't remember if we did here specifically on this show, but where basically, people only carry about 2 to 3 services at a time. They'll have usually like Amazon Prime or Netflix as their primary, and then they'll bounce around to the other ones. It's been the norm. There's been even stories about it in the trades and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's more so the future. Cable, on the other hand, was on its. The pandemic did like the opposite of what a lot of people thought it was going to fucking do, which is funny. When it comes to entertainment, people thought, oh, it's going to kill the theaters. Cable's already dead and on its way out. Streaming's, and that's why the studios pushed hard during this whole thing with their streaming services. They thought this was it. This was the moment they were going to make their move. It was like, it was kind of like Ivan Drago giving Rocky that one hell of an uppercut, but he wasn't paying attention that Rocky was preparing to come back with a fucking left that he wasn't looking for. And that's kind of what everything happened was like, okay, yeah, you gave the movie industry, as far as the theaters go, an uppercut that they weren't expecting, but they had a left hook waiting for you. You didn't know it was coming. And that left hook's going to take your ass down because they proved, along with other things, that they're not dead yet. Home video also had a surge. I'm sure it's going to go back down.
Physical media, hold it in your hand.
What it did was show what a lot of people have been saying, like myself for a while, is there's a lot of areas, even in the United States, that are not ready for high-speed video streaming yet. They don't have the fucking internet service. You're just finally getting satellite service to the point where it's good enough. And a lot of those still have just stupid fucking limitations and shit and other things like that on top of it. But again, we could go on about this for a while, but I think you're partially right to a point. It just depends on how long some of the other stuff hangs on. I think that's where we're seeing the shift, is that Disney and Warner and all these guys realized, oh shit, the world's not quite ready for this yet. It will be the future. It will be the future. And it is profitable. It's very fucking profitable.
But no, it isn't. It did not yet. It's not.
It's just not yet.
Yeah. The profits down the road.
If you can get to where Netflix is, where Amazon is, then it's extremely profitable. Is my point.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right there. And again, I mean, Amazon, it's a throw-in, so it doesn't matter if it's profitable. But you're also going to see theaters start running more independent films. You're going to see better deals with independent creators than you ever have in the theater system, because they're going to be like, yeah, sure, bring us your film, we'll show it, we'll exhibit it. We're going to have films we don't have to, cut a deal with a studio that's not favorable towards us. they're going to start promoting more of that stuff. I think we'll see for theaters. So yeah, there's a downside to that. We'll see though. Valiant Renegade says the very reason that I think that Zaslav is brilliant and why I think it's a good move for HBO Max and Discovery. Zaslav's charging $5 for his ad-based subscription service, so it's very cheap. And then he makes another $6 in ad revenue per user on top of that same subscription every month. There you go. It's one of the reasons why Jason Kilar was one of the first people that announced that they would be headed that direction, because he was watching Discovery do what they did. So absolutely. Let's see. New Snow White and Little Mermaid going to wake Disney up? Well, no. We just had a executive from Disney say exactly the opposite. Right? What's her name? I'm going to destroy Disney from my thoughts. What's her name?
Who?
The executive lady that came out of Disney that says if you're not forcing diversity and inclusion, you're losing money. You're leaving money on the table or whatever. I forget her name. She said lots of dumb stuff. She's been a producer on a lot of things that she really didn't have any hand in making successful. So the fact that people are listening to her and she's where she is, it's the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy. It just blows my mind. So yeah, HBO has their $10 ad-based platform now. That's true. It's going to go up. That's the whole point. Let's see. Got a lot of people in the chat. Vinny's in the chat. What's up, Vinny? Matt G is promoting everybody out there. The Wake Down's up. What's up, the Wake Down? Good to see you. Good to see you. Roof Korean's in the house. Awesome. Yeah, no, Kathleen Kennedy Liger fan. Yeah, very specifically a lunatic. With a lot of influence problem. So yeah, Pluto TV, there you go. And my physical library, I'm good. And a lot of people feel that way. And yeah, there are some free services out there that will grant you immunity from some expenses. But as Tom said, eventually everything will go to this streaming type of thing. But it's not going to happen as fast as we thought. And I'm glad to be wrong about it. Let me tell you. Anyway, we're going to wind down because I think we've ran out of things to talk about. The C-Man says that Doomscock's latest video about Indy 5 is pretty grim. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I will. I don't think Tom has either.
No, not yet, but I've heard some of the leaks, so if they're anything close to what I've heard, then yeah.
Don't know if you're looking for, but Brady Fisher blood is heading up Disney's diversity and inclusion. Oh no, Brandy, whatever. Don't care. They're destroying themselves from inside with that crap, and they're destroying their exact relationship with their client base that they've relied on forever. Because the people that traditional family entertainment, they're not getting it from Disney. Yeah, I wasn't talking about Headland, who also said some really stupid crap recently. And thanks to our friend Data Racer, we have it preserved forever. Thanks to that. Eventually I'll die, so it's a race against time. Yeah, that's how I feel too. That's pretty funny, Lord Thoth. I think WW84 is meant to be a soft reboot, distancing themselves from the Snyderverse timeline, kind of like Bumblebee with Transformers. I don't know, and I don't care. It was not a good film. Thank you, Finite SA. All right, Tom, do you have anything you want to promote? You guys have amazing stuff going on with Midnight.
Good hygiene. Always good to promote that.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I'm sure we got videos coming at some point. That means I just got to get my ass to gear and working on them.
Well, I feel like I wasted your time today.
Oh no, I've got so much shit that I never get done, dude. It's not even funny.
Believe me, I know. I can't even keep up with the stuff I need to watch so I can stay.
Tell me about it.
Mills is watching stuff.
I wish that was the only problem I had.
Well, and editing and everything else. Anyway, but I just want to say this: I had a great time today. Thank you for dropping in. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody out there. You guys are the whole reason that we're here. It is a wonderful circumstance that we get to hang out with you. Tom, anything else? Yay, nay?
No, I'm good for now. I can't think of anything.
Sounds good.
Meet
All right.
later, maybe. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I think I am. Today's Tuesday? Where am I? I have Rogue Squadron, possibly if I'm not working, and then of course one of my favorite shows, Trekking on Tuesday with Wes Moody, this evening. So it should be fun. Probably an adult film parody of Star Trek would be my guess, but who knows? We always have a lot of fun there. You're welcome to join us. Be sure to take care of yourself. Be sure to take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. It truly is. You should be doing that. If you should have been doing it your entire life, especially after you go to the bathroom. Ugh, it's gross. And until next time, bye.